This case involves a deeply disturbing alleged incident of domestic violence. The details emerging paint a grim picture of an attack. The suspect in this matter has been identified as Logan Willis. He is central to the events under investigation. Willis is reported to be 21 years old. His age places him in early adulthood. He is said to reside in Oak Hill, West Virginia. This location is relevant to the initial background information. The victim in this alleged crime is identified as the suspect's girlfriend. She was also pregnant at the time of the incident. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. The alleged incident occurred on the afternoon of June 6th. The specific time adds a timeline to the events. A critical moment took place at a gas station. This location was in the rural area of Kenna, West Virginia. It was from this gas station that Logan Willis reportedly called 911. This call initiated the official response. During this emergency call, Willis allegedly made a confession. The content of this confession is central to the case. He reportedly stated that he had beaten his girlfriend. His words were chilling, until she quit breathing. Willis apparently believed at that moment that he had killed his girlfriend. This belief was conveyed during the call. Tragically, their other young child was present. The child was with Willis during the 911 call. The alleged beating itself reportedly occurred earlier. It is believed to have taken place inside Willis's car. Following the alleged assault, Willis is accused of dragging the victim. He allegedly moved her into a wooded area. Sheriff's deputies were dispatched immediately. They responded swiftly to the 911 call from the gas station. Upon arrival and understanding the situation, deputies began a search. Their priority was locating the victim. The victim was subsequently found. She was discovered in a wooded area. This wooded area was located near the gas station. It was close to where the 911 call was made. Deputies were guided to her location. They reportedly followed a trail of blood. The blood trail led from the road. It marked a path to where the victim was ultimately found. Despite the suspect's statement, deputies discovered the victim was still alive. This was a critical finding. Upon finding her, deputies made another discovery. They realized the victim was pregnant. The victim had sustained numerous serious injuries. These were observed upon her discovery. The injuries were described as consistent with a life-altering beating. The severity was immediately apparent. This description of her injuries is based on details. These details were included in a criminal complaint filed in the case. On June 6th, the victim was reported to be in very critical condition. Her state required urgent medical intervention. She was immediately rushed for medical treatment. She was transported to CAMC General Hospital. The safety of both the mother and the unborn child became a critical concern. This was highlighted by Sheriff Ross Mellinger. Ensuring the survival and well-being of both lives was paramount. Medical professionals worked to stabilize her condition. The extent of the trauma indicated a brutal assault. The focus shifted to her recovery and the investigation. The medical team faced a complex challenge. They had to address severe injuries while protecting the pregnancy. The victim's fight for survival began in the hospital. Her condition remained a grave concern for some time. Updates on her medical status were closely monitored. The community awaited news with apprehension. The initial assessment underscored the life-threatening nature of the attack. It was a situation demanding the highest level of medical care. The criminal complaint provided a stark account. It detailed the physical evidence of the violence inflicted. Law enforcement and medical personnel coordinated efforts. Their goal was both justice and recovery. The victim's resilience in surviving the initial attack was remarkable. However, her path to recovery was expected to be long and difficult. The presence of the unborn child added another layer of tragedy. It emphasized the potential for double loss. Hospital staff worked diligently to provide care. They focused on stabilizing her vital signs and assessing internal damage. The nature of the injuries suggested intent to cause severe harm. This was a key element for the subsequent legal process. The victim's condition remained precarious. The initial hours and days were critical for her prognosis. The medical reports would later become vital evidence. They would document a full extent of the assault. The community's thoughts were with the victim. There was widespread shock and concern over the brutality of the crime. The hospital became a place of hope and uncertainty. Doctors and nurses fought to save her life and that of her child. The severity of the beating was a defining characteristic of the case. It highlighted the extreme violence involved. The victim's survival was a testament to the rapid response. It also spoke to the efforts of the medical team. The focus remained on her recovery. The legal process would follow as her condition allowed. Following the incident and his 911 call, Logan Willis was taken into custody. The legal process began swiftly. Willis was formally arraigned. This took place in Jackson County Magistrate Court. During the arraignment, the charges against him were presented. He was informed of the allegations. Willis is currently being held. He remains in custody pending further proceedings. A bond amount was set for his potential release. The court set the bond at $500,000. This high bond amount reflects the seriousness of the charges. It indicates the perceived flight risk or danger he poses. The legal case is now moving through the court system. Future hearings and proceedings are anticipated. Willis will have the opportunity to enter a plea. He will also be represented by legal counsel. The court will consider the evidence presented by the prosecution. This evidence includes the alleged confession and the victim's condition. The legal process will determine his guilt or innocence. It will also determine the appropriate consequences if convicted. The setting of bond is a standard part of the initial legal steps. It allows the court to manage the defendant's custody status. A bond of this magnitude is typically reserved for grave offenses. It underscores the gravity with which the court views the allegations. Willis's continued detention is based on the court's assessment. This assessment considers the nature of the alleged crime. The case will proceed through various stages. These include preliminary hearings, potential grand jury indictment, and trial. The legal system will examine all facts. It will consider the circumstances surrounding the alleged attack and confession. The victim's testimony, if she's able to provide it, will be crucial. Medical evidence will also play a significant role. The defense will have the opportunity to challenge the evidence. They will present their case on behalf of Mr. Willis. The court proceedings will be public. They will be followed closely by the community and media. The outcome of the legal process is uncertain. It will depend on the evidence and legal arguments presented. The $500,000 bond serves as a significant barrier to release. It aims to ensure his appearance in court. The arraignment was the first formal step. It marked the beginning of the judicial handling of this case. The legal system is tasked with seeking justice. It must balance the rights of the accused with the need to protect the public. The case highlights the intersection of criminal law and domestic violence. It brings attention to the legal response to such incidents. Willis's status as being held on bond will continue. This will be the case unless the bond is met or modified by the court. The legal proceedings will unfold over time. The path to resolution in such serious cases can be lengthy. Based on the alleged actions and the victim's condition, specific charges have been filed. These charges reflect the severity of the crime. Logan Willis faces a charge of attempted homicide. This indicates the belief that he intended to cause death. He is also charged with malicious assault. This charge addresses the severe injuries inflicted with malicious intent. A third charge against him is strangulation. This suggests a specific method of attack was allegedly used. These charges collectively represent a grave indictment. They point to a violent and life-threatening assault. Attempted homicide is a felony offense. It carries significant potential penalties upon conviction. Malicious assault also constitutes a felony. It addresses the intent to maim, disfigure, disable, or kill. Strangulation is recognized as a particularly dangerous form of assault. It can quickly lead to death or severe injury. The combination of these charges underscores the prosecution's view. They see this as a deliberate and brutal attack. Each charge will require proof beyond a reasonable doubt. This proof will be presented by the prosecution in court. The defense will contest these charges. They will seek to challenge the evidence and the interpretation of events. The charges align with the alleged confession and the victim's injuries. They reflect the narrative presented by law enforcement. These specific charges carry significant legal weight. They indicate the potential for a lengthy prison sentence if convicted. The legal definitions of these crimes will be applied. The court will determine if the alleged actions meet these definitions. The charge of attempted homicide is particularly serious. It focuses on the intent behind the alleged actions. Malicious assault addresses the outcome of the violence. It considers the nature and severity of the injuries. Strangulation highlights a specific act of violence. It recognizes the inherent danger of restricting airflow. The prosecution will build its case around these charges. They will present evidence to support each count. The legal battle will center on proving the elements of each crime. This includes intent and the causal link between actions and injuries. The charges reflect the initial assessment of the crime. They may be subject to change as the investigation progresses. However, the current charges indicate the extreme nature of the allegations. They signal the potential legal consequences Willis faces. This case serves as a stark reminder. It highlights the devastating consequences of domestic violence. It particularly underscores the vulnerability of pregnant women. They face unique risks in abusive relationships. The case also emphasizes a critical need. It shows the importance of intervention and support for victims of domestic violence. The investigation into this incident remains ongoing. Authorities continue to gather information and evidence. The community is awaiting updates. There's significant concern regarding the victim's condition. Updates are also anticipated regarding the legal proceedings. The public is following the progress of the case.